Now we start in South Africa, where the Supreme Court of Appeal has upheld a High Court ruling to reinstate hundreds of corruption charges which were filed against Jacob Zuma before he became president. Now, state prosecutors set aside the charges in April 2009, paving the way for Zuma, who has faced and denied numerous corruption allegations made since then, to run for president later that year. Now, Zuma and the National Prosecuting Authority were appealing against the ruling made in April 2016. The NPA has responsibility for deciding whether to reinstate the charges, which relate to a $2 billion government arms deal arranged in the late 1990s.
In light of what appears above, it is difficult to understand why the present regime at the NPA considered that the decision to terminate the prosecution could be defended. The appeal must therefore fail.
Well, Angelo Coppola now joins us in Johannesburg with more insight into this decision. Angelo, as always, welcome to the show. Well, it certainly looks like the matter is back in the hands of South Africa's National Prosecuting Authority. Angelo, where do those charges stand now? And certainly, are we going to see the NPA go forward with this case?
Well, look, in theory, the charges will be reinstated. And contrary to popular belief, there aren't 783 charges. There are actually only 18 main charges, and they relate to those 783 transactions between Zuma and his erstwhile financial advisor, Shabir Shaik. You'll recall that Shaik went to jail for that part his part in the transactions. Initially, there were some who suggested that perhaps Zuma's team would approach the Constitutional Court, but I've been reminded that the legal team, or that Zuma's legal team, admitted in court just recently that they didn't have a case. So it looks like the charges will go forward. We have to wait and see, obviously, to see how this plays out in the next couple of weeks, possibly even months.
Well, Angelo, what is President Zuma's next move here? We know that his lawyers want to make presentations to the NPA going forward.
Well, in that statement that the Office of the Presidency released today, because obviously the President's away in Zambia on a state visit, they said that their position is that the ruling clears the way for new representations to be made to the NPA head, Sean Abrams, before a court actually hears the case. To some, it appears, though, that Zuma's office is possibly using the current integrity issues facing auditing firm KPMG as a reason to make those new representations, effectively calling into question the integrity of the KPMG forensic investigation into those 783 transactions that we talked about just now. Now, Abrams' office said they would be studying the ruling, but they would work within the prescripts of the administration of the country's laws, and they would then make a decision based on that. So we're waiting to see whether Abrams hears those representations before the court date or during the court date.
Well, Angelo, have we heard from the ANC so far on this issue? We know certainly what President Zuma is vying for, is still the leader of the ruling party, sorry. What does this news mean for President Zuma's leadership at the ANC and certainly his remaining term in office going forward?
Well, look, in the statement that the ANC released a little earlier, they said they had full confidence in the country's judiciary and the options it offers to aggrieved parties. Those were their words. It says it will study the judgment and await further decisions from affected parties, and everybody is not quite certain who the affected parties were, besides the president, of course, before they'll actually go and issue a comprehensive statement on the matter. That's as much as we have from the ANC at the moment. The spotlight now shifts to the presidential hopefuls and whether they will use this weekend's platforms that they talk at to either support or denounce Zuma. For now, though, the official party line seems to be no comment until the president says otherwise. For now, of course, Zuma remains in charge, at least until December. And that was confirmed earlier today when the party's Secretary General, Gwede Mantashe, said that the party would wait for the legal process to play out before deciding on Zuma's future. So it looks like we're going to wait for the court proceedings before the ANC will decide on whether Zuma stays or goes.
Well, we'll certainly be watching. Many thanks, Angelo, for that update.